Don't judge me. I just wish you knew. That's just like you. I miss you as I need you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Ooh, excuse me. We got the STS on this Sunday afternoon. As you already know, this is going to be the STS is a little different from the combo in itself. All things go over here. K Styles here, aka the sixth man. To my screen right, you know him as the Senator Mad Mike Sports.
Yes, sir. How to be, how to be, how to breathe.
How to do. And like you said, man, we definitely got a very interesting conversation to come into today. So, hey, let's get right into it, Mike. First of all, hell of a it's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a off season. It's just been a hell of a day, man. How you been doing?
Hey, you got that right. It's definitely been a hell of a day, hell of a week. Uh, but not much we can handle. We can handle it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Hey, Treyway, appreciate you in the chat. Like I said, man, as you coming in here, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button for 6MK Live. So let's go ahead and get started on this. And I promise y'all, we're not gonna be an hour and 30. This is probably gonna be a 45-minute conversation here. Um,
Mhm.
so Mike, I saw earlier today that you spoke about a new direction as far as content goes when it comes to us.
Yes, indeed.
And and I asked and to give the disclaimer, this is not just a Mad Mike decision. This was a group decision. So for those that didn't catch it earlier, Mike, go ahead and explain to them about the new direction that the new adventure that we embark on.
Well, uh, this has actually been something that we thought about well over a year and a half, probably 2 years. Um, I had a personal goal for myself for to hit 10K, and once I got to 10K, um, that like I said, that's something that I we accomplished. Let me rephrase that: we accomplished 10K, but that's something that you know it's something that I definitely saw that was attainable. I never thought that I could not do it. If you know me, if you follow me on Twitter, y'all saw a quote tag of mine. Uh, it was literally "I am great." So that right there, that quote in itself, um, I carried that quote for quite some time, and like I said, never thought it was unattainable. But since we've obtained, K Styles has gotten to where he wanted to be. We got about three more other goals for everybody else, and then Falcons. Like to be honest, if you just look at Atlanta Falcons Nation in itself, we got well over 50,000 people just following us on all social media platforms. So, um, and we obtain pretty much everything that you can attain in the Atlanta Falcons. We really have done it. We've got me personally. I was a huge Terrence Mathis fan growing up, watching him playing ball. Obviously, with our Atlanta Falcons, I like he's definitely one of our mentors. Um, even he obtained one of his goals. He became a head coach, something that he drew a kind of plan for himself. So now he's a head coach at Morehouse, and then I got to meet, you know, so many other Falcons and interview so many other Falcon content creators, so many Falcons players, journalists. Tori McElhaney was a great friend of ours. Can call her anytime. You know, we can chat with her at any time. Same thing with Terrence Masters. If I need some, I can call him up, all that type of stuff. So we've obtained a lot of things. We obtained a lot of our goals. So we just redrawing it, and it's time. Like Falcons content on our channel is not going to be the sole. It's not going to be the sole part of the show. So we're still going to do it. You guys can ask questions. We will answer it, but we are moving not only to the NFL of things, but we're gonna do a lot of big topics, and the STS is one of those things that we're gonna look for, or we're gonna continue to do. Which is why we have this show right now. In case Styles can explain that, but it's look, man, we couldn't have done it without y'all, to be honest. Y'all continue to support us. We have any type of function, y'all can come out. Y'all don't hesitate. So we really owe this, even this next venture and juncture, what we doing, like we really owe it to y'all. Cause like I said, man, we y'all continue to support us.
Mm. Um, I just say, well, like you said, for what Mike is talking about, if y'all haven't really been paying attention to a lot of the content and a lot of the lives here recently, no, the Atlanta Falcons uploads will still be up.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the live shows, we're branding outside of just the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
Um, I think, I think just on the honest standpoint, I think we're doing a disservice to the people that subscribe to us because it's not just Falcon fans that subscribe to us, but it's
Right.
also fans of sports and teams outside of it.
Different college teams
And
also.
and college teams and stuff. So we wanna be able to give content that is a little bit more versatile.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of and I just be and to be honest, I'm gonna say it like this: if you want the exclusive Atlanta Falcons content, there's really two places you need to go, and that's going to be the heavy hitters and Atlanta Falcon Nation.
Right.
That's where, like you said, that's where you gonna have like exclusive live shows
Right.
pertaining to Atlanta Falcons. But I also look at it as a challenge too, because I already know we're probably gonna lose a lot of viewers because of this. Because
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest, we've been losing viewers for a while. Not really. That was a joke.
Oh, you really did that. Oh shit.
Nah,
You
yeah,
really did that shit too.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, that's an insider
But
there.
that's an inside joke, yeah. But it kind of like you said, it kind of just goes back into the one of the topics I had is the off-season realities. Hey, the off season is where the off season is really where you make the money at. And this is really where we've been building a lot of this stuff at, especially with the versatility of these shows. And it definitely has helped us, and it definitely helped broaden the mindset of what we have. Because, to be honest, like I said, it gets stale having to. have conversations with people. These I'm talking about conversations with people. It gets stale every off season where you got somebody trying to cancel your ass.
Yes.
My eyes is tired. I can't fight. I just tired.
Eyes tired, boss.
And it's not because I'm tired of the others. I'm not tired of the bullshit that come my way. That shit just getting old.
Yeah. It get old when you hear the same story when people try to cancel you. It's the same story. It never changes the story.
And it goes down like this. If y'all don't know what the story is every off season, and this is even before we first started, every off season, somebody, like you said, somebody has a there's a whole group of people that has a complaint about us being mean. Man, that's all this shit come down.
Right. Every off season, it never changes.
It
We're mean.
happens every off season. It's either that we're mean or somebody trying to expose us. And I'm trying to ask the question, how the hell do you expose somebody that's transparent? I'm trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out what the hell does that mean? Now John asked the question, said, y'all don't like the drama?
Uh,
No, the drama ain't the like I said, my problem, the drama is not the problem for me. The tactics used in it is what I'm sick and tired of because, like I said, if y'all gonna try to pull this shit the way that y'all want to do, y'all gotta come up with a
something
better
better than
tactic.
that.
Y'all gotta come up with something different.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run the same play 5 times. You can't run the play 5 times and don't think somebody don't know how to fucking attack.
Mm-hmm.
Cause we already got to deal with the Atlanta Falcons and they off season drama every damn year.
Oh boy.
It's off season drama. You can ask LT. LT tell you, bro, the Atlanta Falcons they have not had a smooth off season really.
Mm-mm.
Damn.
No, they haven't.
That's,
We haven't had that since what the
what
Super. I
about
mean, I can't even say the Super Bowl year.
no,
'Cause
I
that
say
was a mess.
about 20 no 2000. Damn.
I don't think
I
we.
say about since 2005. I think it's
What?
been since 2005. Every year it's been some drama that went on with the Falcons. And damn it, you got to keep up with that. Then you got to keep up with these motherfuckers. I'm like, I was tired. Travis said it's been 10 years.
Yeah, it's always something. Always something. The same tactics over and over and over again.
Mm. So, so like you said, I was tired. So, what these conversations is going to happen is because now that we're going to kind of expand it, and like I said, the Falcons topics are still going to be part of these shows, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be a big part of these shows anymore. Like you said, if you want those shows, Atlanta Falcon Nation, Heavy Hitters Live, and our post game shows, that's going to be the
Mm-hmm.
only times
That's
you're
it.
going to get those major Falcon lives. So, and I think what this will do is this gonna keep this gonna keep that shit away. 'Cause like I said, we'll do it. Like I said, I will be willing to do exclusive Falcon content again on my channel if y'all come up with a better tactic to try to get me canceled.
That's
If you
really
come
it.
up, if you give a different tactic on trying to expose somebody, then we'll do Falcon content for for Falcon content again.
No, trust me. People, we like to talk ball, and what we're just trying to do is talk ball with everybody. We got y'all have like to be honest, it's a lot of people that watch us that aren't they really aren't Falcon fans like that. They've just begun being Falcon fans, and like for me, like look, I'm a wrestling fan. Kid was a Tech fan, Georgia fan. Like I used to watch a lot of Indianapolis Colts game because I was a huge Peyton Manning fan. Golden State Warriors fan because I mean, well, I wouldn't say Golden State Warriors fan. I'm a
Steph
Steph
Curry
Curry
fan.
fan. So
Mm.
I catch a lot of their games. So like this isn't one of those things where it's just like, all right, we want to spend more time talking about the things that we enjoy instead of oh you're so mean. I can't believe you. Every off season when it get boring, everybody say we mean. So
Yeah,
that
it's kind of
tactic is
fun.
just
It's kind of funny that it never comes up during the season, but it
no, it
always is the
never
off
does.
season.
It never does.
I need that's an
That
interesting
needs to be
question that
studied.
that need that really you know what that really needs to be studied.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Yeah.
regular season, everything is fine, but when the regular off season comes, it's always somebody trying to expose somebody. Oh, we're always the subject of exposure. Um, so that asks the question is, I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna ask everybody that's watching. Why do y'all think our style is so?
Mm.
I said, why do you think? Why do you think people find the way we do things offensive? What's your thought on that, Mike?
I mean, I'm trying to find the right words, but I really don't have the right words to say other than um me personally I can only go off on what people say because I'm like y'all gotta kind of bear with me because it's two. I got two voices in my head right now. Okay, I got Master Yoda and I got Senator Palpatine in my head. Right now.
Oh
So
God, that's actually go ahead, Mike.
yeah,
That's
I got two people in my head right now. I really do have two people in my head because one of them telling me because I don't give a fuck, and the other one is like because we're not afraid to have the conversations and say the things and mention the things that aren't necessarily popular. And I think that like when you're not afraid to say certain things and question people's motives, because a lot of times when you have a topic like Matt Ryan, like we've been called coons because we supported an alleged white boy because he was white. And then, with Mike Vick and whoever quarterback it was because they were black or Julio Jones, Arthur Blank only do that because he only did that to Julio Jones and Ronald Wright because they black. Like we've been accused of things. So I think we speak on those topics. I don't think it's necessarily that we are assholes. I think when you aren't afraid to tiptoe the line.
that's what John here said. Y'all don't tiptoe around anyone's feelings.
Yeah, I think that's really it. And like I said, I really had to think about it because it's the easiest thing to say. Oh, because we curse and all that. Look, Eddie Murphy been cursing for 40 years. Okay, nobody say he's an asshole. You see his stand up like his stand up comedy, like Cat Williams, all these other guys been telling the same fucked up jokes for years. Chris Tucker, what
Oh
he be
God,
saying
boy,
about his kid, what he might be
oh,
saying about his kid and his family. Hell no, I ain't
oh,
got that. Like, I ain't got no goddamn money. Like, like they do the same thing, and nobody called them assholes for it. But we talk about it. Yeah, you're an asshole for it.
so do you think that we? So you think that? Do you think that's one of the biggest issues that the Falcon community has from a lot of people outside in is it's a sensitivity problem.
I'm gonna tell
You
you
think
what
it's
it is.
what you got?
Because you're not talking to somebody who just started doing podcasts first. I actually started writing first.
Mm,
So I'm just gonna be real. When you have a whitewashed platform, and y'all know who that platform is, I don't have to get too too strict. Y'all know exactly who that platform is. When you're whitewashed and they are the leaders for the Atlanta Falcons fan base, there's not a variety. You don't have a certain amount of variety of voices and whatnot. And you got one particular platform that is the leader in Falcons content for a long time. Since the internet has begun, it's always been one of the two. It's always those and those and those. Y'all know who they are. And I think when you have them, everybody just assume because they are the leaders, this is how it's done. And when somebody come along and they make that cursive S look more like a snake. They look that T, you see that ST, that
you
T
say
right there?
ST? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
T
look
right there.
like a horn. You turn that T into a horn. Like when people start turning them S's into a snake and that T right there to a horn instead of it being a straight bar. That's when people got a problem. Like, hold on, whoa, 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 whoa. Why your S look like that? Why your T like that? Those are the things that we do. We turn our T's a little bit more like horns. Our S's look like snakes. Okay, and I think when people are so used to looking at the T's looking like a T instead of a horn, people like,
Mm,
yeah, y'all doing this shit the wrong way. I don't like it. So you like a lot of us are being programmed to think this is what content and what conversation is supposed to be because we've been conditioned to think because these leaders, even ESPN is another one. We've been conditioned to think this is how content is supposed to look.
mm. So pretty much what you're saying is we don't. What you're saying is that the problem with our takes and the way we approach things is it's not it's not conforming to what everybody else is used to or what
Mhm.
everybody else wants.
Yeah, and we're not the only one. Like I said, it's plenty of people out there. You look at Kwame Brown. Look,
Hmm.
he has the same. He teaches the same. He's not going to be part of the what game, K Style?
They go along, get along game.
He's not going to be a part of it. He's going to speak his mind on certain things. He's going to try to be as real and as honest and speak on it. Even if he's wrong, he going to speak on it. But he doesn't
Hmm.
conform to an idea, to a certain structure of what people think
Right.
sports and conversation is.
Okay. Yeah. So in a funnier sense, we come more off as offensive to people's feelings more so than their opinions. If you
You
think
know,
about it in that way.
you can, but I think the feelings are only initiated by what you being conditioned. Because if you're conditioned to think, all right, this is mean, and somebody says it, you gonna immediately feel a certain type of way because you've been conditioned to think this is mean. But if
Mm,
you were used to a certain, for example, like me, K Style know how me and my daddy talk to each other. Like we get at it, but it's not like for me. It's not disrespectful because look, that's where we've always talked to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? We have our own like hell. Me and K Style have our own fucking our. I mean, LT know, Jay know how we get down. Like
mm.
we have our own. You know, uh, uh, we got our own little
Everybody,
style. Go ahead.
yeah, right. Now go ahead, Mike. I was agreeing with you. What?
No, I was just saying we got our own little style, and like to on the outside where it may look like it's very disrespectful and we're just asshole, but like it's not. That's not because again, that's why I say Falcons needs more. It needs more variety. It doesn't need that same whitewash bullshit because that's what we've been conditioned to. I mean, that's why I like listening to Michael Turner, Ove on Blair. Like I like listening to Angry Man. K Style put me on him. I listen to everybody. I listen to Chisel, Donis. I listen to so many other people because we've been conditioned to think this is mean if you do it this way.
Mm, right. And and all honestly, and this is how I feel. I think this is the reason. This is the reason why a lot of the fans in the community and fans in the niche get clowned by a lot of people because they sense the sensitivity. They kind of sense that okay, leave no child behind type mentality slash
Hmm.
slash don't combat my opinion type thing. But it's very interesting they
Yeah.
can combat. But it's very interesting they can combat our opinions, but then they start having a bitch fest if we do the same thing. I think because like I said, we usually clown them in their opinion at the same damn time. We'll disagree with them, but yeah, clown them at the same time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Which usually goes on in barbershops.
Yep. All
So
the
the thing
time.
so the thing about it is if you put more energy if you take away the energy of trying to change somebody's way of doing things, I ain't even worried about the disagreeing part. I don't care about the disagreeing part because your opinion, my opinion, clash, conversation, understandable, done. But all this, y'all mean that you won't let nobody have anybody's opinion type shit because of critiquing your opinion, that's one of the major issues why over here in the West, this is why a lot of stuff is messed up. And
Yeah.
let's be honest. I know people say Trump fucked this country. This country been fucked up before he got back in office.
Hmm.
Let's be honest. We live through a time of censorship.
Hmm. You don't like my clothes. You don't like I like to wear dresses.
There, there was a point in time on this internet, if you said certain keywords that were not offensive keywords, you would get your whole goddamn channel banned.
Hmm.
And we not talking about the offensive words that yeah, if you say those, you need to get your shit terminated.
Hmm.
And I think that's where it's going at right now, where it's like it's a like I said, I ain't gonna say it's a herd mentality. It's it's okay, this is how you need to do it, but then everybody that's over on that side of the thing have a problem with people that's doing it unconventionally.
Yeah.
And I think it's hilarious to be honest with you.
The
Shout
unconventional
out,
approach
shout,
is
shout,
always on that.
shout out to the young knight. Shout out to the young knight in here.
Hmm.
But that's why I said eyes is tired. Eyes is tired, bro. I'm tired. If you're going to go that route, if you're going to try, if you're going to paint that using words like cult, uh, devils, ghetto trash, um, uh, ratchet niggas. If y'all going, like I said, if y'all gonna continue to use that narrative, at least make the attack point different. That's all I'm saying. Oh, have mercy. And it always comes. And the worst part about it is we get that shit from close in proximity too, which is fine. At least we know exactly who it is. But hey, my thing is call better plays next time. What you got to say on that, Mike?
All better plays because me, I'm to the point where I'm just like, okay, bye. You'll never see me again. You
With
will
it.
never see me again. Keep playing with me. You gonna never see me, or you gonna see me. It's one of the two. I don't play around like that. I don't got time to play around that.
Mm-mm.
A lot of people like a lot of people want to bring the old you out. I want to retire. Okay, I want to retire just like Marco Corleone. But no, they keep bringing you back in.
And I think that's what they got an issue with me is because you're a Mad Mike Sports. You rant, you're angry all the time, and
Hmm.
you see these shows, it's calm, and they
You know
don't
what?
like that.
You know what's crazy?
What's up?
If people really saw me, who how I am in real life, I really am a quiet person. Until
Until
that's it. You
until
say something dumb or do something dumb, then you see that part of me. But I'm look, this performing arts student right here. All right, this performing arts kid. Look, once I got into ROTC, that changed my life. I became
mm,
a much more disciplined, know how to manage my emotions when I got in ROTC. So it that changed my life. Like I said, Coach Man, my old tennis coach, and yes, I used to play tennis, y'all. Okay, I went to performing arts school, so I played tennis, basketball. Um, so yeah, then my
yeah. What's up, Juan? What's up, Juan?
Nothing. I just walked out of HGTV and I'm on the show.
Now we're just talking about uh on the sensitivity of this of the Falcons community when it comes to us
Oh yeah.
and this idea that this one damn tactic, this one tactic that we have seen for the last five off seasons, you trying to run this shit hoping that it works, man.
I love it. I'm going to put it in perspective where we can understand it. Y'all suck about as
Jeez.
bad as Raheem does in mid-game adjustments. You have no mid-game adjustments. Y'all the kind of kids that like keep banging your head against the same brick wall, hoping the brick wall gonna give up. 5 years, 5 long years. You know what this lets me know? Y'all didn't
What's
listen
up?
to a damn thing Sesame Street told you. Sesame
I'm
Street, Sesame Street told you the difference of colors, the difference of numbers, how to spell. You even had the um, the Staple Sisters singing 1 through 12 to tell you how to count. Yet and still, y'all walk right up to the same brick wall and knock your head up against it, and then you invite other people to come with you, and you try to see which dummy can knock themselves out first. I mean, come on, come on. We know every play. We've seen every play. Okay, we know who you talk to. They like us better than you. Okay, they like us better than you. And then you get mad when we call you on it, and everybody in the chat calls you on it. I mean, what you want us to say? What you want us to say? You want us to come up with a new scheme to take ourselves out and give it to you and let you try it? I think that's what y'all want. Y'all want us to
I
say,
think
hey, this is the way you get rid of us. We're going to give it to you, and you would still get it wrong.
so that should be the question. So that should be the question right there that needs to be asked. Um, and I think we need to actually do a show on it. Well, a show on it because I want to get into this last topic before we get up on out of here. The show needs to be titled "How Bad Do You Want Us Gone?"
How do
That's
you
a
want it? How do
that's a
you
good
feel it?
that no that is a question that is a good question right there. How because the thing is I want to know how bad y'all really want us out of the picture.
Now, before you answer it, you got to think about something. Okay. If you were to get what you wanted, what would you do next?
Hmm.
Yeah, baby.
It
Yeah,
ain't.
so
It's not getting rid of us that's gonna hurt. It's now you're gonna be forced to have to think by yourselves.
mm, so yeah, so we're gonna have a show on that, and, and I think it needs to be an open show. I think we need to do that soon. But we need to talk to the people. Say, how bad do you want us gone?
How do you want it?
Hey,
How do
How do
you
you
how
feel?
does it
feel it?
feel?
Getting rid of the elephant in the map, my voice is real. How do you want it? How do you
Yeah.
feel?
I can step up and I can do some Dallas Cowboys. And I can cuss their ass out all the time. I don't need to be a Falcon fan to cuss motherfuckers out. Believe that.
I mean, if that's the case, I can do a Julio Jones, just take all the money, and then Mike call me, and I'm just unavailable. And then come
Hey, yeah.
and then come over to Mike's
I
house
mean,
for
that's
barbecue.
how.
You look, and
That's
then come
how.
over to Mike's house for barbecue and say, "Hey man, you got me a plate."
That sounds. That sounds like a good idea. Cussing out some Cowboy fans.
I believe me, I can make it happen.
But yeah, that's gonna be a show coming up here soon. So I want y'all to get prepared. How bad do you want Mad Mind Sports and the Unholy Alliance gone from the Falcon space? How bad do you want it?
Don't
Let's go ahead.
Mm,
don't all
But
speak at once now.
how do you
but
feel
like I said, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make that an open show though. So let's go and get into this final one, man. And this is the Star Wars psychology. And might make sure you clip that up too when you get a chance, so you can really get some reactions out of it.
it? Ooh, baby.
But let me see, but the last part of it is the Star Wars psychology and how deep the series actually is based on what these guys are told. Because, like you said, I'm not as big of a Star Wars geek. I ain't gonna say a geek, but Star Wars fan than these two because they kind of know more so of the lore behind it. But when it comes to psychology and philosophy and stuff, what is something that you could take that you could explain to the people that may not know if it I'm trying to ask
Okay.
what do I mean by that?
Um. Okay, it starts with two basic principles that everybody understands. Um, choices and repercussions. Choices and repercussions. What do I mean by that? The story is about Anakin. The story ends and begins, supposed to end and begin with Anakin, but his choices thereof.
Mm.
You heard Yoda say, he said, fear, then you go to anger, you go to pain, you go from pain to suffering, and suffering is pretty much the last one. What Anakin had a problem with is detachment and compartmentalization of his emotions. He
Mm.
was the greatest Jedi in his era to live, and he was the most talented. And Mike gonna like where I'm going with this. He's like some of these quarterbacks that are talented but lack emotional
Mm.
discipline and compartmentalization, which hampers their greatness. Why? Anakin, had he gone the path he was supposed to, would have been untouched until his son came along. Why? Because this young man, he practiced his craft, he honed it, but he honed it out of pain. He honed it out of fear. He honed it out of jealousy. He honed it out of validation because the harder he worked, the greater he was, the most creative Jedi that he could be. People respected him for it, but he didn't see himself as that. And he constantly tried to have control of what he didn't have control of,
Ah!
which was life. So what happened? He couldn't
Damn bad.
emotionally he couldn't emotionally compartmentalize that. So what did he do? He used his frustration, his anger, his hatred, and his suffering to try to make stuff the way he wanted it, listening to somebody that knew he was hurting. And what did they do? They used him as a tool. He destroyed his life. He destroyed the people he was trying to protect. And ultimately, he destroyed himself to the point where he had nothing left but his pain and suffering. All that talent wasted. All that creativity wasted. All of the people's lives who he impacted wasted.
Mm.
Why? Because he couldn't get out of his own way. And that's the same thing a lot of us right now are doing in this content space, in this fan base, in real life. Some of y'all out there are talented as hell, but you wasted on you because you can't get you out the way. And guess what? If you could get you paid, you'd be a billionaire right now.
Mm.
It's about honing your emotions, man. And that's the thing about Star Wars that I love so much. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a great I want to say I was I know everything about Star Wars because this is still some things Star Wars that I have not seen yet. So I'm still going through a lot. But the thing is, what Warren stated is that it's about honing your emotions and understanding your talents. Because if you don't hone your emotions, like a lot of bad things are going to happen for you. You're not going to reach your full potential, and your emotions leads to fear, and fear leads to anger. That's the thing that you don't want. Is let fear start to drive you. When you start letting fear drive you, the fear of failing, the fear of not being able to be happy, because a lot of people are afraid to be happy because they so worried about shit it'll end up bad. So they end up making a lot of dumb mistakes, and things that are meant for you, you end up passing on them because or letting them go somewhere else because you're so focused on what if it goes bad? What if it goes bad? What am I gonna do now? Like because you let the things in your past like Anakin did when he lost his mother. He told his mother when his mother, sent him on with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, he was like, you go on and be great. Don't look back. Well, he did exactly that. He looked back. He wanted to go back and get his mother. And when he got there, she was already dead. So these are the things, man. You can't continue to look back and focus on on all the things that's going to happen, like focus on the bad things, and that right there is why Star Wars in itself. And when you look at it, it's a whole lot better than what you really think.
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna pose a question and I'm gonna answer. Just to give y'all an indication. Why do you think Yoda was heralded as one of the greatest Jedi masters to ever live? It's one specific reason. It's not the fact that he lived 900 years. It's not the fact that he trained countless generations of Jedi. It's not that. But it's one specific thing. And if you watch the lore long enough, you actually know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna make
Why?
I'm gonna take a guess on it. I
Okay.
will say that because I could say one part of it probably is because he is able to control both the light and the dark side of the force.
Ding, 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 Kev. But what he did was Yoda had to face himself. Now you don't see this in the movie. You don't see this in the movie from him, but you do see this in the cartoon. And the cartoon, what it does is uh, it teaches people one thing. Yoda, what he learned over a lot of the Jedi masters that he didn't teach because he learned it near the end of his life is you got to know yourself in order to be the best version of yourself. You got to know what your good and bad tendencies are. You got to know what state of, if you got hate in your heart, if you got malice, frustration, whatever. On the cartoon, he went to the elementals, and those are the ones the keepers of the force. And what he did was he had to face himself. And he was scared to face himself because all he taught was knowing the light side of the force and doing this, that, and the other. Well, what he did, he faced himself, and then he realized, you're a part of me, but you're not me, which means that you're a part of me. You're a part of my makeup. Every person is not perfect. They got a bad side to them, but you control who runs what. And Yoda chose to be who he was, which the peaceful light side giver. And by him acknowledging that he had a bad side, there's no other person that can trick him into being bad because it's a choice. He learned that to know myself and to use that side of me is a choice. You know what I'm saying? And that's the ability that everybody has within them. You got a choice. Anakin had a choice. He had a choice. All of them did. Everyone that fell to the dark side had a choice. But again, they didn't know themselves. Dooku did it too. But what did you learn? He utilized that side of him. Why? Because he was smart enough to know, okay, I've already crossed over. There's no way I'm gonna go back. I'm stuck. I'm comfortable right here, so I'm gonna ride this out. Because he thought he was gonna be an apprentice. He wasn't. He was a negotiator.
Mm,
Luke
mm,
had that same choice. When Luke snapped on Vader and cut his hand off, he looked at his hand like I'm becoming my father. And in that moment, he had a choice. Do I continue to beat the snots out of Vader and end up at Palpatine's side? Or do I let Palpatine know, bro, I got this? He turned to look, he threw his lightsaber away, said, you failed. And then what he did in turn is by him sacrificing himself in his defense, he forced Anakin to be a father. And he redeemed himself. Had Luke given in, it'd have been a wrap. Because he'd have still got beaten up by Palpatine at that time. It wouldn't have mattered.
mm,
Vader just would have been dead.
mm. So basically, what you're saying, so basically, just going off of that right there is without the knowledge of self, you could possibly be ran by your emotions, in which it goes back to what is always said is that emotions and logic can be in one vessel, but they can't come out at the same time.
Well, it's like and I've said it before. It's like the old African proverb: if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do us no harm. Meaning that you can't be influenced by nobody outside of you if there's no fight inside of you. But you got to
Mm,
understand something. If there's no enemy inside of you, there has to be something in there to replace it. So if you don't have, like, you know what I'm saying, if you don't have the good Lord or the Holy Spirit in you, then demons come back. You know, no, for those that believe, if that's what, if you can, physics states you cannot have a vacuum. Something has to be present because if there's a vacuum, something else can replace it. Spirit's the same way. Energy is energy. It just transforms. So you got to understand that. That's why if you see us nowadays, the man that observes and is quiet in the moment he's angry, he wins because he can observe himself and say, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to chill out because I'm about to act ignorant. So I'm about to become like the people I'm getting at, and that's not good for
What you got on that, Mike?
What is that?
As far as what he talking about, he talking about the enemy within and the enemy outside.
I
Being
mean,
being able to being able to be that person that person that can be angry yet that's able to control their own emotions.
yeah, believe it or not, that's my fight. That's been my fight all along. I mean, shit, I was dubbed the name Mad Mike, so that's something that I learned. Uh, we have some people that likes to try to trigger that, and as a youngster, I used to down there stab people because of it. But like now, like um, it's to the point I think is hilarious because there's been such a uh, uh, it's been a real, believe it or not. If y'all really saw me earlier in the game, there was no chill. There was hardly any chill. But like
Right.
now, you got people, and that's kind of why we're having this talk about. Is because you got people that like to try to bring that dark side into it. Look, there's several Senator Palpatines out here, okay, several, and they love to try to bring that dark, make you feed into that anger. They want you to continuously feed into that anger because they want you to make a mistake. They want you to make a mistake. But if you know you and you know your family lineage, that's what happens. Luke fortunately had Bail. He fortunately had Obi-Wan. He fortunately had Qui-Gon. He fortunately had Yoda. He fortunately had all of these people surround him so he can remind him of who he was when the time permitted. So if you don't have people around you to remind you, sound familiar,
Hmm.
of the mistakes that you could quite possibly make, guess where you're gonna go? You're gonna turn out just like your father, Luke. But it's all a decision. You have to make that decision to listen to them. You got to make that decision to listen. And again, you may think you know you, but I promise you, you don't know you as well as you think you do.
it. Yeah. See, that's why you go through what they call trials and tribulations because those are tests that are designed to test your character, to see if you got faith, test your character to see if you've developed, patience. Have you developed, what I'm saying, integrity and stuff like that, forgiveness, stuff that you're going to need to be. Because once you learn how to manage those, you're gonna be in rooms where money can't put you in. You're gonna be in rooms where you don't have enough influence to get in yourself. That's why the term favor ain't fair. That's why it said that because it goes to those who learn the discipline. It goes to those who are chosen. It goes to those who
Right.
can bear responsibility.
Right.
See, the thing y'all get mixed up is we get on here and talk shit, but at the end of the day, if somebody really needs some help, if somebody's really going through something, that all gets pushed to the side, and we go ahead and help people. I know I do. So this is why we tell y'all stop getting wrapped up with what you see on here. 2/3 of social media is phony.
You did 2/3. I say about 90% of it. To be
Yeah,
honest with you,
not 90-10 yet.
about 90/10. But I just think at this point in time, and I think this is where a major issue that's going on right now in today's society it's that internal fight between fear, like you said, fear, struggle, anger within a lot of people. And that's why it's a little. That's why a lot of people are more chaotic minded now.
Well, the thing is, ask yourself, do this for yourself. Before you get jealous of anybody else's position, ask yourself one question. What responsibilities do they have to meet in order to maintain that?
Hmm.
You looking at somebody that got a car, you know what I'm saying, that got a big house, that got, guess what I see? I see bills. I see decisions that have to be made. I see sacrifice. I see people be driving them Bentleys. I be like, good luck. Because most of that is $225,000 house on wheels. Guess what? That come with a lot of responsibility.
Right.
It's cute when you see it, but you don't know what they got to do to maintain it, to make sure they can keep it. You know what I'm saying? You, like I said, it's cute until you get in their shoes and then you find out, dang, this ain't fun. No, it ain't fun. That's why you think you see them drive it one time a week. They drive them cars and hope it don't get dinged up. Why? Because the insurance is high.
Hmm.
Shoot. Like, you know, over here at my house, me and the missus out here pressure washing the driveway. Guess what? That costs money. Ain't nobody reimbursing us for taking care of our house. Nobody. I don't want to walk in no other man's shoes but mine.
And I think that's real. I think that's really what it is. I think, man, like you said, that that's deep because, like you said, that's why today a lot of things is ran on jealousy. So the other things is ran on fear. The other ones ran on anger. It's not a lot of people that's happy. And I think really one of the major reasons why that is because you don't have the confines of community where you have those different voices, where you have those different ideologies that can come together and you can say, okay, I don't think you should do it this way, or I disagree with this way, and I disagree with this way. The problem is we have a bunch of people that look for validation and want their ass kissed by everybody.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're wanting validation from people that don't like you to begin with.
Right.
So you will kill yourselves trying to get validation from people that don't like you already. On top of all of that, you got to look at it. It take a lot of work. It take a lot of work to try to keep up with somebody. It take a lot of
Right.
work. People are finding that out about us. It take a lot of work to keep up with us. The
If
stuff that
y'all
we
knew, if y'all knew the job that I personally have, trying to make sure that I stay up to date with all of the new happening and rule changes when it comes down to YouTube, because people don't think about the rule changes because they change things depending on what the economy is, what how the state of certain things are, certain laws being passed. Like I got to keep up with all of that and make sure that most of the crew understand where it's coming from. Like once they come, so I have to do the research. So a lot of times this. I'm spending a whole day. I'll think, oh, my Saturday is such good. No, my Saturday is filled with watching numbers and looking at numbers and looking at 20-minute videos to stay on top of the thing. It's like, oh my, you got 10,000. Yeah, but you don't see the 10 hours. They y'all know them. Look, if y'all knew how long that I personally sit back and I analyze 3, 4 channels and I look at numbers and I try to figure out, all right, what are these numbers saying? What are these keywords saying? All this type of stuff. Y'all wouldn't want to do none of this shit. I guarantee you wouldn't want to do it. I do the work for AFN when it comes down to that. to the numbers and statistics and all that type of stuff. This is why I call it a mad scientist. It's not because I'm fucking crazy. Well, not completely, but
Now, you
I'm the
got some
one.
crazy. You got some crazy.
I
Trust,
got
trust,
some
and
crazy.
trust and believe me. The unholy alliance. We all crazy as hell in some way, fashion.
But
Look, look,
that's
look,
what I'm good. Look, I love numbers. They know I would sit there and put up numbers, and I have a whole fucking chat for everybody just based on numbers and whatnot. And that's what I look at.
look,
Look,
look.
it's like me sitting there watching. Yeah, everybody done seen the Matrix, and
Yeah,
when you see people just see a bunch of numbers on screen, that's me. I'm the one who's trying to decode all those numbers. That's what I do. I've sent it to Warren. I've sent it to Kim. Look, I'll analyze the numbers. I'm talking about the numbers. You talking about when we talking about the videos, the hour minute mark, 9 minute mark. Look, this is what happens when it's 30 seconds. This is what happens when 15. I'm the one who doing all that type of shit. So if you look, this is what Warren's saying, man. Don't look at other people and say, "Oh, this boy got 50,000. He got a million." You don't know what they're doing at night. You have no idea what they're
Mhm.
doing to maintain that.
listen, because of what I do, I have to learn to study people, and I have to learn to study tactics. I sit up there and watch do my craft, but I have to learn to study people, learn to know emotions, learn to know notions. I have to know when I'm putting myself in front of them. I also have to sit up here and I play chess. Why? Because it keeps me mentally sharp, knowing the movements before they happen, 5, 6, 7, 10 steps ahead. Why? Because in this world, you are going to have to outthink your opponent 9 times out of 10 before you even lay a hand on them. And if you don't know yourself, you will get caught up in other people's foolishness and not know it. That's the reason
Mhm.
why I can laugh. That's the reason why I can be creative. Why? Because I understand I'm comfortable with who I am. I know what I'm good at. I know what my lane is, and I
And
don't
there you
try to be
go.
nobody else.
And there you go. And that's it. And that goes back to what Mike was talking about. The whole community, the whole community, and the conforming to one style.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, it's like I said, if it's one style, it's okay. But the problem is if you really look at the fan base of the said Falcon community, it's very small. It's a very small community. But what ends up happening, like I said, what ends up happening is you have a bunch of people that live in fear. You have a bunch of people that live um that are unsure of themselves. So that's why you have a lot of this stuff where people have a problem with folks that's kind of outside the box with it. You have a lot of people that are like really sensitive to certain things. This is why when you bring up Raheem Morris, this is why you have a community outrage because it's not conforming to the majority. This is why when you bring up like the Lamar Jackson conversations we had, it's a lot of people that have a problem with that because we're not conforming to the idea of the majority. You can say this, you can say some good things about that person, but the problem is they're not listening for the good things. They're listening for the worst
Mm-hmm.
part of it.
Yep.
Because in all honestly, I just think people are more conditioned to listen to those trigger points. That's gonna easily get them upset more so than listening to everything. Because the thing is, when it comes to a statement, you can make a statement, you can have facts to back it up, and you can have a neutral opinion that comes with it. But once they hear, but like you said, you go down those lines. If you hear that one thing to say, this guy ain't doing this job, boom, that's what they listen to, and it goes
Mhm.
back. It goes back to that fear and it goes back to that validation that y'all talked about earlier. You fear the unknown. Like I said, we fear the unknown, we fear the different, and we fear the failure.
Not knowing it's a part of the process,
Right.
because those things are designed to shape and mold you into a better person. The problem is you have to understand you don't have all power, so you have to understand where your limitations are. And once you understand where your limitations are, you understand whether you either got to get better or where you got to accept the fact that, okay, these are the confines that I'm stuck to. And so I got to learn to become something different in these confines. So you say
And that's
social media be like, oh, you're not supposed to get boxed in. Yeah, but guess what though? You get creative in the box until it's time for you to get out.
hmm
I,
and
I'll
that's
put.
what happens.
I'm gonna
Well,
give you. I'll give you a prime example. As a kid, I learned how to build and work on stuff out of a to solve a problem. As a kid, my mom and dad didn't believe in buying me and my brother a lot of toys. So when I used to see stuff on TV like Transformers, like Back to the Future, like Ghostbusters, and I wanted those toys and they were too expensive, guess what I learned how to do? I learned how to visualize them, burn them in my memory, and build them myself. Why? Because I got tired of getting told no. So I learned to be creative. Now I can literally put my hands on anything and build it. Why? Because I've taken over 10,000 hours to hone that craft to solve a problem. Now it's a life skill that nobody can take from me. So if I need to survive, I know how to make stuff out of nothing with raw materials.
Mhm.
That's the thing. Being in a box makes you creative, makes you better, makes you different. So when you come out the
Right.
box, sky's the limit.
But I'm gonna go ahead and get up on out of here, man.
Yeah.
Look, like I said, man, if anybody take anything out of this conversation, I'm gonna leave it at y'all with this. At the end of the day, man, be comfortable in yourself. Understand that you have limitations, and like I said, this is something that I even had to learn myself. But the greatest asset that any man or any woman can have is a community. It's a group of people
Mm-hmm. You
in
alone.
which in which your weakness may be their strength. Their
Exactly.
weakness may be your strength may be their weakness.
That's
But
it.
the thing is the community, like I said, a group of people can thrive in today's age if they stick together on one code and one mission. Problem is, everybody that may be in the group may not be for the mission. They may be looking at it as a launching pad. They may be looking at it as a catapult to something to where the mission becomes obsolete.
Say that again, Kel, because I don't think a lot of people heard you in the back. The what now?
Like I said, the community is important, but what the problem is you have people that may be in the group for the wrong reasons.
Mm.
You have a mission, you stick together, you try to build something the best together. But you have certain folks that may be in there that may be looking at you, that may look at you as more of a launching pad than a team than team effort.
That part.
So, like you said, man, till next time, people, we here to play.
Oh no.
We here to stay.
Oh yeah, nigga.
You ain't gotta go home,
But you do got to get better.
and we out here.